Welcome to Web Wednesdays here at H&H Color Lab. Today's class is on Discover New Online Sales Features from HHImageHost. Your class today is with Bentley Ski and David Drum, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
Well, the first thing that we always like to start with when we're talking about online sales is how not to use e-commerce or online sales. That's really important, obviously, because you want to use it to increase your sales, not decrease them. And we've heard from a number of people that you can use online sales to decrease your sales. So what we're doing is we're talking with customers, is we're gathering what's working and what's not working. And of course, we're watching the statistics of how things are selling online and trying to share some of that information with you. So the first way to not use online sales is to replace a face-to-face sale. Now, a league or a school or an organization may require you to do online sales. If that's the case, of course, they're the customer. They can require you to do that. But generally, when you replace a face-to-face sale, you will decrease sales. So if at all possible, don't replace the face-to-face sale with web sales. The next way to not use online sales is to replace a prepay sale. For sports and fall schools is probably the most common way of doing a prepay sale, where before you show the images, you're selling your services. I suppose it's possible also for some weddings and some events to be prepay. When you can get your money up front, get your money up front, and then use online for add-ons. But get your money up front when you can. An interesting thing about the web is that once things are online for a certain period of time, people expect them to be there forever. And so when you're doing online sales, it's important, if you want to sell from those images, to not keep them up too long. If you keep them up for a relatively short period of time, then people are more likely to buy because there's a sense of urgency, and they don't think, oh, I'll come back in a month and they'll still be there and I can get everything I want just by viewing them online and sharing them with my family. So there are times where you may want to use HHImageHost for just that, for sharing, and for people to be able to see the images. But if you're trying to sell things, then limiting the amount of time the images are posted is a good idea. Offering the same products online as you do in an initial sale teaches people to wait for the images to be online. So it's really important when you offer products for sale online that you offer different products online than you do in your initial sale. That way you're not educating them, say, hey, next time I sell to you, don't buy from me at the beginning. Wait till they go online and then you can have more choices. So think ahead of what's going to happen, what you're training your customer to do next year whenever you offer anything online. And the best way to do that is to just offer something different, different products online. So just to recap, ways not to use e-commerce is replacing the face-to-face sale, replacing the prepay. If you can get your money up front, do it. Keeping images online for too long to set the expectation that they'll be there and they don't have to buy anything to enjoy the images, and offering the same products online as you do at the initial sale. So now that we've covered the things not to do online, now we're going to say, okay, now here are the opportunities. Here are the ways to use online sales to increase your sale. And the first one is as a second sale opportunity. Once you sell the first time, can you go back to that same customer and offer a different set of products to them so they can buy again? The best way of doing this is to wait, honestly, a paycheck cycle or two, and then offer them again the images and see if they would like to purchase again. And they may have discovered since then that, hey, there are other people I'd like to buy for. There are some times when you're selling that you can't reach all the different customers that might want to buy from you. Weddings are a great example of this, where there's people attending the wedding that you can't sell to. It obviously would make the wedding too commercial to try to sell to guests as they're there. But there's nothing wrong with making skinny minis of the engagement pictures and putting them in bowls on the tables that have the URL for the web sale on all the tables. You're providing the value for the guests because they're seeing all the different images, the engagement couple, and then they also take your marketing information back to their homes, and then they can go online and purchase images as you're going from table to table and taking photographs. So if you can reach new customers, that's a great way of doing it. Now, when you're photographing, there are going to be some images that you're going to edit out. Offering those images online as a slight variation of what you've offered in the past can be a great way of selling additional products. And of course, really the thing that's changed a lot recently is all of the new add-on products that are available online. You may choose to only offer prints or only certain add-on items in your initial packages. And going back to those customers and saying, hey, we've got these other great add-ons like mouse pads and tins and dog tags all the way up to very high-end sterling silver and pewter jewelry that they can see the images and crop online, and they can see their image in the product. So this is an exciting part of what we're doing on e-commerce because this is a very rare thing in the online sale world, is to be able to get this reach of products. A lot of people are doing prints, not a lot of people are doing all these add-on products. And you know, the original reason we decided to have HHImageHost build was to reduce labor. We're getting a lot of phone calls from folks saying, you know, I'm selling things online, but I'm getting these onesie-twosie orders that are just driving me crazy. They take me all evening to download and find the images and submit in software. And so that's why we wrote the system, so that when you sell something online, you've already uploaded your high-res images to us. And so we fulfill the product direct to your customer with your branding on there, with your return address, plain box, no minimum order charges, all those things we got rid of to make it very simple. So when you sell something online, it gets shipped direct to your customer. And so that definitely reduces labor. We've been getting a lot of great feedback on that. So how do you use online sales to increase your sale? Number one is to offer a second sale to the same customers you offered initially, waiting a few weeks, and then offering the products again for them to buy. Second is to reach new customers that you couldn't sell to initially. The third is selling from new images that you've edited out or held back. Selling other products and reducing labor.
Okay, we're now going to jump into actually the HHImageHost and look at how different people are using HHImageHost and how to set that up. I've switched over to a screen sharing mode, and now you should see down at the bottom of your page a little, usually in the right-hand corner, a little control bar that will bring up a window that if you have a question, you can chat that in there, and we will talk about all of those at the end. So right now I've brought up in Safari here several different websites of customers that are using our HHImageHost software. And the main thing that I want to show as we go through these is the ability to do branding on HHImageHost so that you can tie this into your existing website. So as we're going through, you're going to see, first off, this is Wendell Studio. He's brought in his studio logo, and he's using a very plain background that matches his website. Here's another one for Scott Hain Photography out of Virginia. And again, you see the same basic template, but has a different look and feel. So these first couple ones that we see are all just black and white. This one has some gray tones in it. Here's another one with the black and white. And our third one is Imagine Studio. Imagine Studio is our in-house brand, so to speak, that we use when we're doing demos. And we can see on this one we brought in some different colors that match the way we're doing our branding. So let's jump back and go and look at how all of these things can be configured. Our landing page for HHImageHost is just hhimagehost.com. You can also find links to hhimagehost.com through our website in the proofing section. There are links there. So we're going to go ahead and log in to the account. And if you are not an HHImageHost customer, you do need to set up a second account for that, and you can do that through the Learn More on the main page, and then going into Getting Started. You can see your open your new account here. So if you're not using that, you do need to set up a new account and have a new account number for that. So we'll go ahead and log in, and this is the splash screen that you're going to see to start with. Now, because this is our in-house brand, we actually don't do sales through that. So I'm going to show you some of the events or some of the information that you can get out of this through our PowerPoint slideshow, just as a screen grab of what we've done. So the first screen here is if you had an account that was active, this is what you're going to see coming in here. Where it says your studio name would be your studio name. On this page in the studio dashboard, we can see the number of images we have stored, how many images are in active events. We can see what sales have come in over the last several days as far as dollar value. So in this case, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday we did $54 of sales each day. Wednesday we did $72. We can see the list of events that are expiring within the next 10 days. So if we need to re-up those events, we know they're going offline. Or if we want to send an email to people that have visited that event to say, hey, this event's about to go offline, make sure you make your purchase now. We can also see the top live events as far as the number of events that have had a lot of logins. Now, I've gone ahead and blurred this out because this is an active customer's account, and I don't want to give away too much information on their business. But just to give you the idea of what you're seeing in here. You can see the earnings per week, per month, and the total earnings that you've done with HHImageHost will show up here. On the next screen, we can see, we can come in and look at individual orders. We can see what each person has ordered, the quantity, the amounts. And one of the things to really be aware of, and it's a little hard to see on this screen, but down here where the big red arrow is, if for some reason your customer doesn't get what they expected or what they ordered, or there's something was damaged, it's very easy for you to log in, go to view their order, come in here, type in the reason for the remake, damaged prints, whatever the reason is, and resubmit that as a remake. So it takes literally the amount of typing to type in the reason for the remake and resubmit the order, and you're done. You don't need to go through any additional steps. We really work to make this as quick and painless as possible to make that, if there is a problem, to make it right.
And that is very rare to have a remake when you're shipping direct to a customer, but we knew we had to make that simple for the rare case that, you know, FedEx drives over it, heaven forbid, or something happens to it. So it is pretty simple, but we see very, very, very few of these happen. Less than 1% of anything has anything that needs a remake.
Okay, our next screen is, again, looking at through our report section. We can get to an order report summary. Will show us all the events, and you can drill down on that and say, I want to see just a specific event. What are the sales like? Also, and this is relatively new to our site, it's adding the event login email address report. So you can submit a date range that you want to capture emails or see the emails that have been captured for HHImageHost or for all of your events. And that gives you a report on screen that looks like this, that lists out all your email addresses, and then it ties each email address to a specific event. So you can say what event the person looked into. And that is available to export out to a CSV or a comma delimited file that you can then take and re-import into, if you have a mass mailing software like Constant Contact or things along those lines, you can send out an email blast to those customers on a specific event. Examples for using this, A, would be to say, hey, this event's about to expire. We saw you looked at it but didn't place an order. Here's your last chance to order. You might also want to republish an event further down the road, and you can republish events for a minimal fee and then say, hey, we've pushed this event back up. Now's a great time to buy additional gifts or services. And we'll talk about those fees here in just a minute.
And one of the best ways of reposting events is close to holidays. We have Mother's Day coming up. And so if you've had events online for sale in the past, push those out again and notify everyone who participated in the event, because they're telling you they're interested. They just need to know that there's something available now for Mother's Day, and now there's additional products that are specifically for Mother's Day. Same thing for Christmas or any other holidays.
Okay, so let's actually jump back into the actual website. Bringing up the wrong tool here. There's the one I wanted. Okay, so we're now logged in to Imagine Studios, and this is the dashboard. And the screens that I just showed you, the order screen right here, is where I'm going to see if I had placed, or if customers had placed orders, I would see these right here. I would see all the information in this area with my graphs. I can see expiring events and images and details like that.
And what we tried to do is to make the dashboard what you'd want to see first when you came online, to just give you an overview of what all is happening with all of your events online.
Our next screen over will show us our events. These are all our current events. But when you first start HHImageHost, you're not going to have anything in there. Same thing with reports. And really where you're going to start is over on the Settings tab. And the reason it's all the way over on the right side is you're only probably going to go into this once or twice. Once you have your site set up, you're not going to come back in here again. What it's going to show you is at the very top, it's going to show you what your URL is, and this is how you'd access your actual selling page. That is going to be based upon the account studio name that you enter in when you set up your HHImageHost account. So be real careful there. I've had customers that just say, oh, I'm just going to call it online, and not realize that becomes part of their URL to get there. Now, I'm going to jump over, so we're going to have two windows going on at the same time, just to show you how things look. So this, what you're seeing now, is the HHImageHost screen, and we're going to compare that over here to our settings. So our studio name, that's predetermined. We can upload a banner file, and the banner file is what you get right here. It's the area that's highlighted in yellow. In this case, that's just a JPEG file that I made in Photoshop, that I put my studio information on, I put my branding on it, I chose the website colors that I want, so it all looks and ties in the same. The next thing we have is our left, middle, and right images. And you can see they're highlighted here, but that's actually the left, middle, and right images I see coming across the page on my website. And if I want to change those, it's very quick and easy to change by just uploading a new file. And it gives us the recommended aspect ratio of those and pixel dimensions so they fit in there the best. Below that, we can see all of our fonts and color settings. And you'll notice that, for example, fonts here have A and say font color. If you come over to this other window, it's going to show you where that tags in. So right now, if I click on that as a bigger window, I can open that up and see it much larger. And to see how quickly changes can be made, my header font color right now is shown in black. I want to change that to a new color. I want to make sure I'm grabbing the right thing. I'm going to change that font from Arial to New Times Roman. Just scroll to the bottom of the page and just say Save. When I come back to the website, if I refresh that page, it should update that font. And I must have done something wrong on that, but that's fine. But you can, as you're going through this, we'll change one more that I know will change very quick. Let's go to I, which is the outside banner color. And I'm going to go to kind of a blue. Click on the right page. Let's save that. And come over and resend. And I think what's happening is it's being cached. and it's not updating for some reason, unfortunately, which always happens when I do a demo because it's done that before. I mean, not done it has not worked, but it has worked in the past, and I've seen that happen on occasion. Okay, so anyway, you should be able to see those updates take place live, and we're making a note of that one. I'm going to come back and check that after the class. So you're going to see all of the different options that you can set up in there to configure this to get the look that you want. Now that we've done that, let's come in and create an event and step through what you need to do to create an event. Start by going to the Events option on your top menu and create an event. When you create an event, you're going to start by specifying a URL name and an event name. So in this case, the event is going to be Web Wednesday. And the event name is going to show up when you view all events. You're going to see your event name here. Now, it's just refreshed my site based on the pattern and the color because I went to the new page, which happens. So my event name is what I'm going to be see listed here in this column. So when I add this, I'm going to see Web Wednesday. The event URL name is going to be part of the web address. So I may just call this web to make it a short URL. I can specify the date of the event, which today is the 21st, the event location, H&H Color Lab. I can specify a publish date, and I can specify today as the publish date or any date into the future, and those events will go online for up to 60 days. As David said earlier, we've seen in talking with customers and looking at sales that the shorter the time period that they're online, the better the sales are. One of the phrases that one of our other employees here at the lab said is, if you leave the images up too long, they're going to lick the color off of them and not be interested in anymore. So very short time frames are the recommended way to sell. You can set up passwords, and we have 3 tiers of passwords on HHImageHost. The first is an event password. That is to get in and see the event. That is your master password. As always with passwords, the more difficult it is to get in to see your images, the less likely that you are to make sales. So don't make passwords, don't add passwords unless you really need them. If it's required by the people that you're photographing, or if it's a school or a sports team, keep that in mind. You can choose your price lists, and I'm just going to choose one here, and we'll talk a little bit more about price lists in a moment. We can set up an email notification to let you know whenever an order has been placed. And you can also specify a letter to be sent out with the order. So whenever the client places an order, we will add a customized letter to that order when it ships out. When we're talking about shipping, we ship everything out of the lab in an unbranded box. The return address on it is your studio address. And the letter is a single-page black and white letter that you can put, thanks for your order. If you have any questions on the order, please contact the studio, as well as possibly putting information about a coupon or future specials to drive them back to order more. We can also specify an event cover image, which if we jump over here and look at this first event, this is the cover image that we're seeing right here. So that's kind of a greeting. It might be, if you're doing a sports team, it might be the sports team's logo or the Little League logo, just something to help people visually know that they're in the right spot. We can put in event notes, and this may be information to, for example, to take the project offline on a certain date. I've also seen a lot of customers that do a limited type of sale, which basically means for the first 10 days they show their normal pricing. After or starting on day 11, they go to a higher tiered pricing to help drive sales. Now, if somebody orders on day 11, they're very happy to take all that extra income that they make off of it, but it drives people to order quicker. And to change that pricing, it's very quick and easy to do. You just come in and edit the event and just change this price list from your normal price list to your plus 50 price list, however you want to manage that. So you can put that type of note in there. An event greeting is going to show up down in this bottom section to just let you know that, hey, thanks for seeing it. If there is a product that is not available in HHImageHost that somebody might want to order. Might have information about contacting the studio to place that order, things along those lines. I'm just going to type in some rough notes here. You can also choose gallery templates. You can go with a black gallery, and in this case, when you hover over an individual image, you see that image come up larger with the order information. You can also go to this gallery style, which has all the thumbnails down below and a larger image up top. And on both of those, you can specify the background between black, brown, gray, or white, so you can choose whatever you want there. Once we've set this up, we're going to go save and manage images. And I did not choose the type of an event. This is now going to be where I upload my images. And to start, I have to create a group. So I'm just going to call this group. It also could be called set 1. If you're doing a sports team, or if you're doing a wedding where you have a lot of subdivisions, for example, on a wedding you might divide it out between bride, groom, pre-ceremony, ceremony, families, secondary location, just to make it easy for your customer to browse and find specific images. Instead of having to look through 1,000 images, now they can look through small groups of images to find what they're looking for. So you can specify multiple groups. One of the really nice features is if you've pre-organized all those images in your orderings on your computer ahead of time in subfolders. So you have, for example, Lee Summit Little League, and under there you have subfolders for each of the teams. When you come to upload, you can do an advanced upload and upload that Lee Summit Little League, and it will automatically build groups based on all the subfolders, so that will get in there very quickly and easily. And there is, if you hover over that, it's going to show you an example of how to build that type of group and how to work that. Okay. Also, individual groups can be password protected. Again, we're uploading a Little League. If you want each team to have its own password, you could do that as well by setting up the groups. Now, once I add that set 1 as a group, I can come in here and choose to upload photos. And when I do that, it's going to bring up my upload photo window, which is actually a form of our FTS uploader that we use to upload orders to H&H. So if you've ever uploaded through our website, this will be very familiar. We can come in and add a file or folder, browse to where those are, and actually start the upload. Because it's using the FTS technology, if your upload or your internet connection goes down or times out, it's going to continue to retry until that upload is successful, as long as you don't turn off the computer. There is a time frame in there. Usually I want to say cautiously 1 day, 24 hours, it will continue to retry, which in most cases will take care of an issue. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and one of the things that David mentioned is you are actually uploading a full-res file, or a file that's large enough for the largest print size that you're offering on HHImageHost. So you don't want to upload proxy images or thumbnails or images that have a big watermark on them. Now, when we talk about watermarks, we do give you the ability to watermark your images once they're uploaded, and I'll show you how that happens as well. I'm not going to actually go through an upload at this point because it does take as long as the number of images you have are. Also, keep in mind that once those images are uploaded to us, we have a little bit of process time to generate the low-res thumbnails for the website, and optimistically, or cautiously I should say, those images are available usually within 15 to 20 minutes once the upload has been complete. And you can see those when you come in and manage an event. You're going to be able to see the images start to show up in here. You'll have to refresh the screen to see more show up, but you'll know the upload is complete when it's in here, and you'll see some status changes as it's generating the thumbnails and so on. This is also where if I want to take a specific image out, I have the ability to do that as well. Okay, so we've created the event. we've gone in and managed the images on that, and now when we look at our events, we can see all the events here. I'm going to go into the Connie and Bentley event, and I first off see the URL. Now this is a URL that I can copy and paste if I want to have the link directly from my website. I can have that show up here. I can see the publish date and the expiration date. I can see the price list that's used, and if I want to edit that, I can come in and just change to a new price list very quickly and easily. To set up price lists, we can come to our price list tab, and I'm going to create a new price list, and in here I can see, give it a name. I can specify the types of products to order. Do I want them in color, black and white, and sepia? There I have limited retouching services that I can offer, and then I have print products. For example, our professional color is our traditional Fuji paper. I can specify the size that I want, so I'm going to come down here and specify an 8 by 10. I can give that a name, and like everything else we've done on HHImageHost, we've tried to make it fit your current brand. So you might not sell an 8 by 10 print called 8 by 10. You might call it desk print or desk portrait, however you want to name it. The sequence number specifies the order that you want that to show up on your sales list. So you might type in a bunch of prints and then say, oh wait, I want them in a specific order, and so you can choose that sequence. If you leave it blank, they're going to show up in the order that you see here. On that print also you can specify if you need custom cut, if you need coding services, texture services, as well as mounting services. So I'm just going to put an artboard mount on this. This will bring us to the point where we see price as well as cost, and this is going to show us or let us know what this product is going to sell for, as well as how much profit we're going to make on that. And I'm going to let David talk a little bit about our pricing to use HHImageHost.
You bet. HHImageHost has, first, the system is $35 a month for unlimited images and unlimited events. And it's really meant to be an ongoing part of your business, an ongoing part of your web presence. So you want to think of it in terms of how can I use this as a tool both to serve my customers, to have them preview images. You can also put your portfolio online here if your current website doesn't have that capability, and also offering second sales for multiple events throughout the year. The second part of it is setting up the price list. This is meant to be branded for you. We're invisible in the background, so you control, as Bentley was showing, the skin of the site. You control the featured images, the contact information. You also control what products you want to offer and for how much. And so what we've done when we looked around at what was available, we knew this had to be a great value compared to what was out there. So what we decided to do is not charge anything for the upload. We're obviously taking the overhead of storing high-res images, but we said, you know what, let's try that and see how it works. And so you aren't charged anything to upload. The only time you pay anything else in addition to that $35 a month is 10% of the retail, and that includes the 3% credit card transaction fee. That's not in addition to the 3% that you're usually charged on a lot of the sites. So it's 10%, and what those dollars are being used for is for responding to all the different requests that we're getting for continuing to develop the site. So what will happen is, when you enter a price for a product, you'll notice that the cost changes, and that includes the price that you'll pay H&H, in this case, the 8 by 10 print plus artboard, and the 10% of the retail, so that there's no charges that are hidden, and it shows you exactly what your profit will be every time you sell one of these. So one of the questions we get at this point is, what about sales tax and shipping? And what we do is we keep track of where people are buying from. H&H is the company, or HHImageHost is the company that is selling this, and its nexus is in Missouri. And so only Missouri residents will be charged sales tax, and we take care of that for you. Anywhere else, customers won't be charged sales tax, and you just report the income that you take from HHImageHost as a commission. We're paying you a 90% commission on sales. So that's how that works. And then we charge a shipping charge as well. The lowest price is U.S. mail for $5.50 for the smaller prints and things like that. And then they can choose FedEx Ground or FedEx 2-day. So that is truly your profit. That $12.05 on a $20 8x10 is truly your profit that you will bring home and, of course, have to pay Uncle Sam for at the end of the year, but there's nothing else hidden in there. So our intention was to keep that as simple as possible.
One thing to clarify maybe a little bit, the shipping is paid by your end customer. That's not something that you pay, and that's why that $12.05 and $12.05 is your actual profit. So we can come through and specify other print products, and you can specify as many as you want in there. You can also come in and choose specialty products, and from this drop-down you're going to see all the different specialty products that are available, from our sterling silver and pewter jewelry to acrylic keychains to mouse pads, pewter ornaments. We have a lot of different things that are available in there. And just like on the prints, you can give it a name. In this case, it's our Grace necklace. You might continue to call that Grace. You can specify, again, a price on that. I'm going to sell that for $120. And then you also can specify a preview thumbnail.
Yes, what we've done is we've preloaded the system with our marketing images of those. They don't say H&H on them. They're just a picture of the piece of jewelry with an image in it. But if you decide you want to use your own marketing image, you can do that. You can also type a description on there. We don't fill that in right now, but you can type in and use whatever language you like to describe the product.
And on some of our jewelry, we're going to start offering different chain choices. And so you can see right now the 16-inch small textured cable chain is the only one available. In the future, when we have more options, you'll see those show up in there. And on those preview thumbnails, if you're going to use your own image, let me jump over to another web page and just go to HH Color Lab. And let me log in here. And on the main web page, when you come into the sitemap and go to Jewelry, we'll go to Necklaces. And then in the Learn More, you'll see down at the bottom there are marketing images available. That is, each of the pieces of jewelry have been knocked out so they're on a transparent layer so you can put them wherever you want, and also have a paste-in layer so you can put your own image into that and then use that upload right there. So it's real easy for you to do. So I'm just going to choose Save and Review. I'm not going to add a lot more services on this pricing. And I'm going to now see everything that I've ordered, the price. It's going to show me my net profit and when I last modified that, so I could see all of that in there. Now, let's actually go to an event and look at what the end customer sees. So this event that I'm logging into doesn't require a password, but it does require my email address. So I need to enter in my email address to capture it. In this layout, I see all of my images. This is the second option that we chose for layout, where we can come through and see the thumbnails down below. When you click on an image, it shows up in the window. Now, if you'll notice, as I hover over that, I get a copyright symbol. This is the generic copyright that we automatically apply to everything. In the setup for the event, or actually for your account, you can upload your own file, a PNG file, to overlay. So when you hover over that, it could be your studio logo, it could be whatever. So that helps. Right-click is disabled. It also keeps, if you're a Mac user, you can click and drag that off to your desktop, and it helps prevent that from happening as well. Now we're on this, and we'll notice up here on specialty, well, before I go there, we can see this image in color. We can preview it as a sepia. We can also preview it as a black and white. And those options can be disabled on the price list if you don't want to. If you say, I only want to sell black and white, or I only want to sell color, you can do that. Here we see our print options, and this shows us the different sizes that we have available and what the price is. And let's come and look at, for example, this image here, and add that as an 8x10. When I bring that in, I now have the ability to move this up and down to crop it. I can do a zoom in to crop as well. And I can, if I needed to rotate that, I could also. So that lets the customer see exactly how they're going to get their 8x10, and you can preview that. So I can order one quantity here of a color print and add that to my cart. So now I see on my cart here it shows one item of $20. I also have the ability to come in and order specialty products. I have the cell phone charm, and this is the product image. If you upload your own image, this is where you're going to see it when you hover over those specific products. So let's go in and look at the heart keyring. We'll add that one. And this is a really nice product for $785. I didn't set up this price list, but somebody's going to make some money on this one. So when we bring this in, once again, click and drag, I can zoom up, and you'll notice that the customer is going to see exactly how that's going to look in their piece of jewelry with the template that we have on there. So they can adjust that and know exactly how it's going to fit. Especially on this one as a heart shape, it's not an easy thing to see. So it's very easy for the customer to see. They can also order that in color, black and white, or sepia for the image inside. Add that to the cart. So now my cart total is $805. Come in and view my cart, and I can see what's in there. I've ordered a heart keyring and then a desk mount print. I can update quantities. I'm going to go ahead and continue and move into the the final section of the order, where the client is going to enter their information in. Now notice this is an HTTPS in the web URL, which means it's now a secure site, which protects any credit card information that's passed through it, and they can enter their billing and shipping information and ship to if they want to ship this as a gift, they can do that as well. Here they're going to see their FedEx or their shipping options, which will vary based on the products that they're ordering, if not only quantity but sizes. I believe U.S. mail is limited to 8x10s.
Goes up to 11
by 14 prints and smaller. So if they're ordering a bigger print, it also can vary based on the weight of the object. So we're calculating that behind the scenes. If you're ordering a lot of 8x10s on artboard, that may bump you to the FedEx ground as your minimum.
And what we're doing here is we're transacting the credit card as HHImageHost. And then, so we gather those funds, or we pre-authorize the credit card. And then when the order ships from H&H Production, it finalizes the transaction on the credit card. So all it does is reserve the funds up front. Then at the end of the month, when we kind of wrap up the month and all the charges, then we send you a check for the balance of the total sales minus the shipping that the customers paid, any sales tax that they paid, the $35 a month, and the product sales and the 10%. Then you get a check for everything else at the end of the month.
Okay, let's go back. There was a couple features that we did not talk about, and I went back too far. And we're just going to jump back into that event again. And one of the things also is and I did not show this earlier, but you can share an album and also add to favorites. So you can create a collection of images to share with someone and say, hey, these are my favorite images. When you share an image from HHImageHost, it does not send the actual image to whoever they're sharing with. It sends them a link to drive them back into the site. So when you set up an event, there's a script that asks you to share, and you can turn that on or off, and honestly I recommend turning it on because it's a very a simple way to let your customer promote images to their friends that they might see in there. There are probably some other features that we have skipped over, and that is information if you're using the site and you do have a question, contact us here at H&H Color Lab and we can go into a lot more detail on that. But hopefully this gives you a quick overview of using HHImageHost, not only what you're going to see on the back end, but what your customer will also see. And hopefully you find this a useful addition to your studio sales as well as your workflow. As always, from everyone here at H&H Color Lab, we appreciate you attending today's class. I hope to see you in another web class real soon, and have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.